When did you realize someone hated you enough to ruin your life? I was always worried about other girls. Turns out I should have been worried about my mother-in-law. It all started the day of our wedding. The officiant asked the audience if anyone had any objections to our marriage, and my mother-in-law actually stood up and said, "Yes, over here. It should be me instead." I pinched the bridge of my nose, and even the officiant rolled his eyes and completely ignored her. Ever since then, she's made it her mission to tear us apart. Fast forward 6 months later, when I was planning my husband's surprise birthday party. Before we got married, he always told me how much he hated birthdays, and he made it a thing to never let me celebrate. But now that we were living together, he couldn't stop me. So I went all out. It literally cost almost $2,000 to organize because I refused to cut corners. I planned to have chocolate fountains, yes, plural, a catering team, servers, and very expensive champagne. I wanted to invite practically everyone he knows, so I dedicated an entire day to making some phone calls. The first one on the list was, of course, my mother-in-law. Truthfully, I wanted to get her out of the way so I wouldn't have to keep thinking about it. She picked up on the first ring. "Oh my gosh, how is my baby boy doing? Please tell me you've dropped that evil witch by now." This is actually Sheila." "Oh, right." Her voice immediately dropped, but not with guilt over being caught for what she said. It was more like disappointment. Well, I just wanted to get it over with. So I told her about my plan and how everything was already paid for. All she had to do was show up. Suddenly, she started screaming like a banshee. "Who the F do you think you are?" I stayed silent and waited for her little hullabaloo to be over. In just 5 minutes, she called me every curse word I could think of, told me I was an evil beast for corrupting her son, and that she would rather Michael, my husband, be dead than attend anything I planned. But I didn't have all day, so I simply gave her the time and date of when it would happen before hanging up. Honestly, her reaction was so predictable that I didn't even think about it again. But when my husband got home that night, he told me his mom, my mother-in-law, had called him. I was scared she had exposed my plans, but turns out she had just made a dating profile for him without his permission and sent him screenshots of girls she actually approved of. He told me this with a deep worry in his eyes, as if anything she did could actually affect me anymore. "I'm sorry, my love. You know that I would have gone no contact by now if she didn't have cancer," he said. I let him hold me and kiss me. "Don't worry, Michael. I know," because I really did know, and I refused to let some jealous old hag come between us. The days leading up to his surprise party were mayhem. My mother-in-law kept spamming me with texts like, "You're going to regret this," or "Last chance to back out of the party." And my favorite, "You think you're in control, but you have no idea what's coming." She really thought she was the evil supervillain in a kid's movie or something. So I just blocked her number because I figured she wasn't going to come anyway. Then came the big moment. Me, his coworkers, his siblings and members of extended family, and his best friends all stood in the kitchen in the complete pitch black. In our hands were party poppers, and there was a huge cake in the center. The air was filled with excitement, and everyone was silently whispering about what his face would look like when he walked in the door. But at 4:10 p.m., when he still hadn't arrived, an awful gut feeling washed over me. You see, he was always very time-oriented. Ever since I'd known him, he would go fishing every Saturday morning and get home at exactly 4 p.m. So when 4:30 p.m. hit and he still hadn't arrived, I felt dizzy with anxiety. Well, that's when I got the call. But it wasn't from him. It was the police. I put it on speakerphone. They told me they had found Michael in a car crash on the side of the road. He was dead. A scream escaped my throat. My hands clawed at my chest as if trying to rip out the pain. His family collapsed to the floor, and his coworkers tried to carry me over to the couch. The policeman was still on speakerphone when someone grabbed the phone from me. What he said next hit me like ice to the chest. "We checked the security cameras at the scene. It looks like a Toyota Corolla intentionally knocked him into the ditch before driving away. Can you think of anyone who may have ill will towards Michael?" I screamed again. But this time it wasn't grief. It was rage. I knew who was behind this, and I planned on making my mother-in-law pay by any means necessary. The rest of the full story is on my channel.